Hello everyone, the content we are currently studying is the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, also known as MARPOL73-78. In the 1970s, with the rapid development of global trade and maritime transportation, ship emissions and waste discharge had a serious impact on the marine environment. In order to address these issues, the International Maritime Organization (IMO) formulated the MARPOL Convention, which played an important role in protecting marine ecosystems. The MARPOL Convention is one of the four most important conventions developed by the International Maritime Organization. Through the study of this lesson, everyone should be able to grasp the basic requirements for pollution prevention in the 6 annexes of the MARPOL73-78 Convention and be familiar with the examination points on MARPOL73-78 Convention in the Basic Safety, Personal Safety and Social Responsibility exam. This lesson is divided into 3 parts: lead in MARPOL Convention, basic requirements, and question card guidance. First, let's take a look at the video.
国际防止船舶造成污染公约 MARPOL 负责2是指控制油污染的国际条例，旨在减少船舶排放和泄漏造成的海洋污染。以下是该负责的主要内容总结，规定了船舶油污染控制的最低标准，包括油舱盖板、防油污染装置、油水分离设备等，禁止将含油污染物排放到海上，规定了船舶的油污废物处理方式。 要求所有船舶都必须安装油水分离器和滤油器，并对这些设备进行维护和监测。规定了海洋保护区域 MARPOL 特别区内船舶应采取额外的防油污染措施，并限制船舶进入敏感海域。要求船员接受有关污染控制的培训和教育，保证他们能够正确使用和维护相关设备，并且知晓如何避免船舶排放和泄漏造成的环境损害。 强调控制船舶油污染的重要性，并鼓励各国政府在本地区开展相关行动，包括加强监管、执行和处罚力度、提高公众意识等。需要注意的是，不同国家对该负责的实施可能存在差异，因此建议结合当地实际情况和法律法规进行了解和应用。
Question: After watching the video, do you know what kind of convention MARPOL is? And so the MARPOL Convention is mainly a convention on the prevention of pollution from ships. Part 3: Basic requirements of MARPOL Convention. Firstly, we need to remember that the MAR Convention mainly consists of its 6 annexes in terms of pollution prevention. Annex 1: Rules for the prevention of oil pollution. Annex 2: Rules for the prevention of pollution by toxic liquids in bulk annex. Annex 3: Rules for the prevention of pollution by harmful substances in shipping packaging. Annex 5: Rules for the prevention of pollution by domestic sewage from ships. Annex 5: Rules for the prevention of pollution by garbage from ships. Annex 6: Rules for the prevention of atmospheric pollution by ships. Below, we will briefly explain the main requirements of Annex 1 on the prevention of oil pollution rules. There are 2 main methods for treating oily wastewater generated in the daily work of ships. One, the cabin is equipped with a storage cabinet for oily wastewater, which is stored and sent to the port for shore treatment. Through oil water separator treatment, meet the discharge requirements and discharge into the sea in areas where discharge is allowed. This picture is the oil water separator on our ship. When using an oil water separator, several points should be noted. 1. It can only be used while the ship is sailing. 2. Oil concentration monitoring equipment should be equipped, and the oil content of the discharged material should not exceed 15 ppm. Next, we will talk about the treatment of waste oil and oil residue generated in the daily work of the ship. There are also 2 main methods for handling. 1. The engine room is equipped with the dirty oil tank, which can be stored in the tank and sent to the port for shore treatment. To dispose of it through an incinerator and burn it in a place where incineration is allowed. The incinerator can also incinerate some solid waste within my scope, such as cardboard, oily rags, etc. For NXII rules for preventing pollution from bulk toxic liquids, let's have a brief understanding. We need to remember that the classification of bulk toxic liquid substances is divided into 3 categories based on the degree of harm: X greater harm, Y ordinary harm, C smaller harm. There are 3 management requirements for preventing pollution from bulk toxic liquid substances. 1. It is prohibited to discharge residues that have a greater degree of harm after unloading on board. 2. For goals with a lower degree of harm, it is allowed to discharge at the prescribed speed and rate during navigation. 3. See, it is also important to pay attention to meeting the prescribed offshore distance and water depth when discharging. Okay, next to Appendix 3 rules for preventing pollution from hazardous substances in shipping packaging. We remember that the waste generated from shipping packaging materials must be left on board the ship and cannot be thrown into the sea for shore disposal. Currently, the only waste that can be thrown at sea is food waste. The next one is Annex 4 rules for preventing pollution from ship domestic sewage. Firstly, ship domestic sewage refers to 1. Discharge from toilets and urinals. 2. Discharge from medical rooms. 3. Discharge from places containing live animals. 4. Other wastewater mixed with the above discharge. The usual treatment method for ship domestic sewage is 1. There is a storage cabinet on board. If the port cannot discharge it, it must be stored in a storage cabinet and sent to the shore for treatment. 2. Treat through domestic sewage treatment equipment. On the right is our domestic sewage treatment plant. The current requirements for the use of domestic sewage treatment equipment are 1. After being treated by the domestic sewage treatment equipment, it can be discharged at a distance of 3 nautical miles from the nearest land. 2. The ship is sailing at a speed of not less than 4 knots, and the domestic sewage treatment device is operating during the voyage. 3. Untreated sewage can be directly discharged beyond 12 nautical miles. Okay, it's time to go to Annex rules for preventing ship garbage pollution. Firstly, we need to understand that ship garbage refers to the waste generated during the normal operation of ships, including various food, daily necessities, and work items. Ships with a total tonnage of 400 or more and ships carrying more than 15 people should have a garbage management plan. The main requirements for garbage management on ships are: 1. Garbage should be strictly classified and stored. 2. Food waste can be disposed of into the sea or sent to the shore for disposal according to regulations. 3. The incinerator can incinerate waste that is allowed to be incinerated. 4. Send the remaining garbage to the shore for disposal. Annex 6 is about the rules for preventing atmospheric pollution caused by ships. The main content is to control the emissions of ozone-depleting substances, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, volatiles or chiral organic compounds, and marine incineration materials from ships to prevent further pollution of the atmosphere. The exhaust pollution of ship power plants is usually achieved by controlling the quality and sulfur content of fuel and stricter emission. Regulations will be implemented in some ports and regions with high requirements. Next, let's take a look at the requirements for refrigerants in the ship refrigeration system in Annex 6. Refrigerants may cause damage to the atmospheric ozone layer. This is mainly achieved by controlling and inspecting equipment that contains ozone-depleting substances and to prohibit the installation of new equipment containing ozone-depleting substances. such as fire extinguishers and refrigeration equipment, central air conditioning, ice boxes, food freezers, etc., to prohibit any intentional emissions of ozone-depleting substances. Part 3 question, Card Guide. Now please complete the following exercises based on the learning content of this lesson. The above is the content we have learned about the basic requirements of MARPOL 7378. This class ends here. Thank you everyone.